Hi everyone, I would like to introduce my new pattern design, Floral Blooms Crochet Blanket. It may look very complex at first for some of you, but I believe if you have little knowledge of crochet, understanding crochet symbols, and if you follow the step-by-step pattern instruction, you can easily accomplish this project. In this project I've used yarn Scheppies. This is iron weight yarn, Chunky Monkey by Scheppies. This project includes 3 colors, petrol, mustard and pale gray. I also used a hook size of 6 millimeters. My gauge is 11 stitches and 6.5 rows per 10 centimeters, double crochet US turn stitches or treble crochet UK turn stitches. The gauge in this project is not very important as long as you keep the yarn quality and the hook size the same. Here you can see all the stitches that are used in the project. I also will show how to work them in my next video. This crochet blanket is constructed from various pieces. On the different pages you will find the color diagrams with numbers and the picture of the blanket specifying which pieces to connect. All my work is supported by visual diagrams. I will explain a bit later in the video when I show the few pages and explain how to follow them. There are 2 options for how to construct the blanket. Option 1 is my preferred method. Crochet all flowers and triangular pieces first. After that divide into 2 groups, 4 flowers per group like shown on this page. I specified the position of the flowers and triangular motifs. Join all the parts by using decorative invisible stitches. I will also show the joining method in my next video. When these 2 parts are completed, work on the larger leaves and smaller curly leaves, and when all leaves are completed, join leaves with the flowers with invisible stitches, and after work on other crochet pieces and border at the end. And option 2, crochet all pieces at first, assemble them like a puzzle by connecting all the pieces and work on the border design at the end. As I've mentioned before, my preferred method is number 1, and but we are all different. Most important, you start with the flower 1 design to better understand the next step in the project. Follow each page in its numerical page order. You can also find visual information on the last page where pictures show the work in progress. Also, please read all the instructions on each page before working on individual pieces. Now we are going to explore flower 1. This flower design is divided into 3 parts. Start with the flower 1. You have to work 3 of the same flowers in this blanket design. The flower 1, part 1, work 3 pieces in pale gray. You have to crochet 3 times in a pale gray color. In part 2, crochet 3 times in mustard color by creating the seeds around the stigma. And part 3, work all petals in petrol. In this diagram, if you look at the petal, most of the stitches marked in green are taller stitches, front race double crochet US turn stitches or front race treble crochet UK turn stitches, and light blue are the half double crochet US or half treble crochet UK stitches, and the red stitches are the back race stitches and indicate and create the space between petals. In this diagram, each row is marked in different color. When you start the first round in part 3, you will have to make increases. Those 2 stitches would also indicate where you have to work back raised stitches on the next row. And after that, you will have to make 1 increase per petal on every row. And the last row will have to be worked from the wrong side of the fabric. You will have to work front loop stitches, however on the diagram you will see back loop stitches instead. Always keep in mind that diagram shows stitches on the face side only, therefore you will have to adapt stitch for the work. For example, if you look at the flower 2 design, the petals have to be worked in 2 different colors. The diagram is written to show only the face side. When you are working stitches from the wrong side, work front raise double crochet instead of back raise double crochet, or back raise double crochet instead of front raise double crochet will be US terms, and UK terms work front raise treble instead of back raise treble crochet, or back raise treble instead of front raise treble. Part 3, start with the pale gray, work stitches in the round and create the spikes. After that, continue working on the 3 petals in pale gray by following the diagram, and after that work petals in petrol color. When you are working petals in petrol, you will have to join the spikes with the petals by inserting the hook from the back into the bump of the stitch in every row. The gray and petrol petals can be connected after each row when you're working in the petrol color, or by using a tapestry needle after completing both parts. The last row has to be worked from the wrong side only for all flowers in this project. To work on both leaves, you will have to work only half double crochet US or half treble crochet UK term stitches and make increases or decreases where specified on the diagram. The dashes indicate space between 2 leaves. You will have to chain 1 and skip 1. Those gaps will create space to add decorative line afterwards. If you don't want to count stitches, you can work this whole piece without gaps and draw the line with a fabric marker afterwards and add decorative stitches over the marked line. The best way is to follow this pattern using the highlighter and mark each next row. The uncountable row numbers are on the left side and the countable row numbers on the right side. In this diagram, the countable row indicates the face side of the fabric. For example, row 1 work 11 stitches, row 2 has 11 stitches as well, and row 3 has an increase indication. Make an increase into second last stitch. Row 4 make an increase into the second last stitch as well. All increases on the side are made into the second or second last stitches. And if you look at row 26, the increase is placed somewhere in the middle. That means you have to make an increase either into 5th or 6th stitch. And if you look at row 29, there are 4 increases, and because you are working this row from the wrong side, you will have to make an increase into the last 5th, 4th, 3rd and 2nd last stitches on the row. All decreases are made into 2nd, 3rd stitches at the beginning or the end of the row. These 2 stitches are converted into 1 and therefore count as 1 stitch. This part of the leaf is darker, which means you work this part after completing first part. And if you look at this diagram, almost all stitches are double crochet US or treble crochet UK stitches. That means where all empty rows, you have to work double crochet US or treble crochet UK stitches and one chain stitch between stitches. In addition, you will have to increase into the next 4 rows in the middle, similar to row 3. I placed indications where the stitches are changing on the row 8 and 9 during the short drawing. In this mesh pattern design, all stitches are worked around chain stitches except for the first and the last stitch. For example, if you look at this diagram, almost all stitches in this piece are half double crochet US or half treble crochet UK stitches and one chain stitch between them. This pattern will also create a mesh design with smaller gaps. Some stitches change during short rowing and the row above that. The numbers on each side indicate 37 rows on the left and 23 rows on the right. The numbers in the circles indicate spaces and where to make an increase. Work 2 stitches into one space plus one chain stitch between stitches. Red circles are countable rows and black circles are uncountable rows, and count spaces from each side. For example, in row 16, make an increase into 8th space, means chain 3 to start a new row and work half double crochet US or half treble crochet UK, and this will count as one space. Chain 1 and work another stitch into the next space till space number 8, and in space number 8 work 2 half double crochet US or 2 half treble crochet UK stitches and one chain stitch between them, and after that you will chain 1 and work one stitch around the next chain stitch till the indication where you have to increase in the stitch height. Work double crochet US or treble crochet UK. Here you can see 2 stitches only on this row, and for the rest of the row you will work half double crochet US or half treble crochet UK stitches with one chain stitch between them. If you look at these lines, the red and purple lines indicate short rowing. The numbers in the boxes indicate how many half double crochet US or half treble crochet UK stitches are made before working single crochet US or double crochet UK stitch. For example, if we look at row 22, the number 14 in the box indicates work 14 half double crochet US or half treble crochet UK stitches before working single crochet US or double crochet UK stitch. Follow this pattern similar to row 8 and 9. Turn your work and work required stitches and make an increase into the 7th space, and after that work one stitch around every chain stitch with one chain stitch between stitches. Part 1 is coming to an end. In the next few days I will release how to work some of the motifs. You can download my pattern via Ravelry or my website. It will also be available on Etsy and Love Crafts soon. Thank you for watching. If you like my work, please subscribe to be notified when I add a new video. Have a lovely day or evening and see you soon.